Hey, what the hell's going on, you guys? This is Superplay NegativeAE, and welcome back to another episode of Will a Wonderful World. Last we left off, we had just done this, and it was about the stalker and the girl meeting each other, and winning the game or whatever. So now, I'm gonna head over here and discover who these people are. Let's do it. We got Carlos over here. My name is Carlos. I'm 18 years old. It was a big day, because I was finally going to leave Mexico. Uncle Deb, who had always helped out at the orphanage, and Auntie Berta, who was the matron of the orphanage, used to tell me that if I ever wanted to go to a foreign country, I'd need to have a passport first. And then I would need a visa. Finally, I could go to the airport and buy a ticket. Then I could fly wherever I wanted to go. I got my passport, and apparently going to Hong Kong didn't require a visa. All I needed was a plane ticket. Uncle Deb and I headed out this morning before the sun even came out. He had been driving me through the mountains for 6 hours to get to the international airport. He then stuffed a couple of warm burritos wrapped up in paper into my backpack before I said goodbye. I didn't know when I would ever see him again. I already missed him.
We ask for your assistance in reporting any unattended baggage or misbehavior to law enforcement or...
I was trying to listen to what that girl was saying. I walked into the airport and I couldn't help slowing down in admiration. The place was so big. No wonder the tickets were so expensive. I needed to ask someone to tell me where I could buy a ticket. I bumped into another man. 3 boxes he was carrying all fell to the ground. I helped him pick up the boxes and stack them. I hope nothing inside got broken. The man was wearing a pair of glasses with golden frames. He seemed like a nice person. He took the boxes out of my hands, and he was not mad at me at all. He just nodded and walked away. He was really nice. Even though there were signs in the airport, I couldn't read many of them. I walked around twice before I found the ticket counters. The ticket cost over 10,000 pesos, just like Uncle Deb had told me. I had all of my savings with me, including my money, the money that my parents and my sister had left me, as well as what I had earned doing other part-time jobs. It was only a little over 20,000 pesos altogether. However, something terrible had happened. I couldn't find my wallet anywhere. I clearly remember checking to make sure I had it when I left. Maybe I had dropped it in Uncle Deb's car? I ran outside the airport. I saw the man who I had bumped into earlier. He was still wandering around with those 3 boxes. Is he lost? But I didn't have time to worry about him. He's a freaking... I apologize for me clearing my throat so much. He's probably a freaking gangster, thief person. I couldn't find him anywhere outside the airport. He probably headed back. I walked to the mountains on the road that we had arrived on. I had my backpack on, feeling awful. It wasn't a popular road, and it was already too late. There were no other cars in sight. I hoped that I could get a ride tomorrow morning. Or was I so unlucky? What the heck? What is Mexico? Big country in the west. West? To our west? Do we live in the east? No, of course not. We don't live in their world, so there is no east or west anyway. Earth is a round planet, so east or west is all relative. Relative? You are not making any sense. Do you mean that the Mexican people would say that their own country is in the west too? Now she's confusing me too. Well, there's a map. You gotta explain that there's a map, and like everybody base their stuff off that map. Oh, by the way, the writers of the earlier letters, they were from China. I always feel a sense of closeness when I think of China. Mexico feels more distant to me. Why is that? Well, maybe just because there are more people who wrote to us from China. I hear that Chinese people are all over the earth. There are a lot of them in every country. Really? So is this letter written in Chinese too? as well as the other ones, because they all look the same to me. Oh no, this is our language. In fact, the people who wrote to us come from many different countries, and they would use different languages. But once we received them, they are all automatically translated into a language that we can understand. Wow, being a god is so convenient. Okay. Carlos. Alright. Next letter. Okay. My name is Chang Yongmin. I recently graduated from the Korean Police Academy. 23 years old. Hey! It was my first day reporting to the Busan Police Precinct. I hadn't realized that I had overslept until my Sir Spotty alarm clock had gone off for the 10th time. Jumped out of bed, slipped into my pants and shirt, and rushed out the door with my coat in hand. I even knocked over my neighbor's flowers by accident. Sorry. Clean it up later. I'm running late. Still, I was 45 minutes late when I finally got to the station. The captain was sitting behind the desk. He squeezed a "kids these days" out of his mouth, and he seemed to lose any energy or interest to even speak to me. Then, I was transferred to the archives. Okay. How could I have overslept on my first day? Please, Buddha. Please help me fix this. Please, please. Becoming a member of the Criminal Investigation Department has been my dream growing up. I don't want to go to the archives. What is criminal investigation? Is it that much better than archives? Well, criminal investigation is the place where police try to solve cases and catch bad guys, but you can't completely disregard the archives either. Wait, what the fuck? He has like nothing. Okay. What the fuck? Can't do that. You can only do this. If he bumps into another man, I don't understand, but let's do it. It'll be late. Notice there was a sign ahead. Although I couldn't read it, I had a feeling it must be pointing to the ticket counters. I always had great instincts, haha. Ticket costs just over 10,000 pesos, just like my Uncle Depp has life savings with me, including the money my parents gave me. A little over 20,000 pesos altogether. I hoped it would be. A few hours later, with a booming noise, the airplane took off. I felt something suddenly pushing into the seat cushion. I could see Mexico City becoming smaller and smaller outside the window. And the orphanage in Monte Talac had turned into a small white dot. I suddenly started to feel nervous. What if the plane went down? I hoped it would fall in the ocean so I could swim back, but the seatbelt thing was so annoying that if I couldn't untie it, I would be dragged into the water with the plane. What the fuck? I heard there was something called insurance that would pay a lot of money if someone died. Maybe it would be enough for Alicia to buy a new house in Mexico City. Just when my brain was spinning with all these questions, a beautiful lady asked me if I would like some water. Oh no, no, no. I checked my wallet again. There was only a little over 10,000 pesos left. From now on, I must be careful about spending every single one of them. I heard everything was really expensive in Hong Kong. I must save up before I find Alicia. Alicia, sister, I'm coming to find you. The Lord will bless us. Okay. I heard the voice of a woman screaming in the crowd. Stop him, he's got my purse. I looked down. The man I had bumped into was holding a woman's purse. He actually tried pushing me away. As a policeman defending justice, how could I let a criminal escape the judgment of the law? I grabbed his collar. Take this! What the hell? I took the bastard to the police station. I ended up late, of course, but the captain let me off the hook for stopping the robber. Captain Gong glanced at the bloodstains on my shirt and gave me a faint smile and asked me why I wanted to become a police officer. I stood up straight, put my hands behind my back, held my head high, and replied firmly, to defend justice. The captain scratched his balding head and smiled. Go report to Unit 4 then. Well, that was convenient. What? Unit 4? I felt my heart suddenly sinking. I heard so many rumors about Unit 4 even when I was still in the police academy. Guess. Okay, well that was easy enough. Got more letters.
Porque siempre me pasa esto. Natasha.
Pretty sure that's not what the Spanish guy said. Couldn't understand my fair share of Spanish. I don't know if he said shit. I wasn't paying attention, but I was reading the subtitle. It did not match up with what he said. Okay, so we can do Li Wen or we can do another one of these guys. What I'm going to do first, let's do Li Wen because we just did Carlos and the other girl, so just do a single one. See how this works. The last class of the day was art. I pushed open the door to the classroom and I was shocked by what I saw. What's happening? A room that usually only had 12 people in it was now almost full. It was like a scene from a beach in the middle of the summer. There wouldn't be enough easels for everyone. Just when I was wondering whether I should leave and go study, I saw Jing waving over from the front row. Why are there so many people today? I sat down at the seat Jing had saved for me. You really don't know anything, do you? Miss Liu is on her maternity leave, or Liu? Is on her maternity leave, so we have a new substitute today. Somebody saw him earlier in the office and posted his pictures on the school BBS. He looked so handsome. I looked around and only then did I realize almost all of the newcomers were girls. Why was Rocky here? What was a boy doing here? I took my phone out and tried to log into the BBS. Found myself unknowingly imagining what the new handsome teacher would look like while waiting for the page to load. Well-made pink skirt or shirt, rolled-up sleeves, top button unbuttoned, pale and flawless skin, impeccable face from the side. The Wi-Fi signal wasn't too good, and I couldn't log in for a long time. Then the front door of the room was slowly pushed open. With everyone staring at him, the new teacher walked across the podium and softly wrote down his name on the blackboard. Wen Zhaoren. Oh shit, I'll be teaching the class for the seniors today. That's the guy, the blue guy. I looked up and down and noticed that Mr. Wen was wearing flip-flops to class. That's the guy that tried to kill himself, right? His ensemble included a pair of casual pants, legs rolled up, and a gray t-shirt and a wrinkled jacket. Not just that, his chin suggested he hadn't shaved for days. I turned to my side and whispered to Jing, "How is this old man handsome?" Jing ignored me. I looked up and realized the teacher was staring straight at me. Or right at me. Oh no, he must have overheard me. Suddenly, Rocky raised his hand and asked loudly, "Mr. Wen, how old are you? And do you have a girlfriend?" The entire class erupted into a loud murmur. Everyone was staring at the teacher even more intensely. Oh, thank you, Rocky, for getting me out of trouble. Mr. Wen slowly took off his jacket and laid it on the back of the chair next to him. 35. The girls immediately began whispering to each other. His responses certainly intrigued everyone even more. Rocky, however, didn't seem to be satisfied with the answer. Mr. Wen ignored the commotion in the room and took a banana-shaped statue out of the accessory cabinet. People with an easel began to prepare their paper. The ones without one took out their sketching pads. The class was going to be over. What the hell? That's a fast class. Jesus. At the end of class, Mr. Wen said he would like to pick an assistant from the class. Anybody who was interested could stand up and nominate him or herself. However, he would need to check his or her sketch. Jing stood up. How brave. Mr. Wen walked over, picked up the sketch, shook his head, and tore it in 2 halves. Rocky stood up from his seat. I stood up from my seat too. And then the bell rang. Jing was sobbing, and I was completely in shock too. Not only did Mr. Wen tear up her sketch, he even said to her, "Are you serious? Did you seriously draw something like that? I will not tolerate this kind of thing in my class. We were just some regular high school students. We're not in an art school. Are you serious?" Rocky jumped right in front of the teacher. I tried to stop him, but it was too late. Rocky punched Mr. Wen in the... What kind of freaking backwards... Who does that? Mr. Wen, however, didn't react, despite having been just hit by... Yeah, because you can't. He simply gave Rocky a glance and walked out of the room without saying a word. Rocky. He was always so self-righteous. The only thing more important in his life might be his ball games. I bet if the bell had rung and the class had been over, he wouldn't have bothered and would have gone off to play basketball. After that, Mr. Wen never came back to the class. Maybe someone filed a complaint about him. Maybe. I always had a feeling that he didn't look like he wanted to be a teacher. The next art teacher always dressed impeccably well. He was also incredibly dull. Okay, start. What do we got to change here? Okay, so here's what we do. Gotta do something like that, right? I don't know. Let's try it. Mr. Wen tore up Rocky's sketch and said, "Everybody could practice with it. Something in the brightest red I ever seen. A minute ago, he had been acting like the king of the world. What did he draw exactly?" You punched Mr. Wen right in his face. However, he didn't have any good just being a good glance. Okay, so that was dumb. That was dumb. Okay. Let's retry that shit then. Alright, so I have to do this. That seems like the best. Because the bell rings, Rocky's not, so Jing was sobbing. I was completely in shock to terrible shit. Said to her, "Are you serious? Did you seriously just draw something like that?" Okay. Some regular, we're not in art school. Are you serious? Boring. Rocky picked up his basketball from under his seat, casually walked out of the classroom, disappeared into the class after a class crowd that was filling the hallway. Other people were leaving as well, taking with what they just happened. Picking assistant again either. I walked with Jing onto the track field and told her dozens of jokes until she finally felt a little bit better. That old man, not only did he dress terribly, his temper was even worse. How could the school hire such a person to be a teacher? It was rank A. So what I want to do now is I probably want to move this up. And then I want to do this, I think. I don't know what this would... No, because the bell needs to ring before anything else happens. So that's what I'll do. That back down. I was completely in shock. My nose started to feel, is that really necessary? Idiot. Lucky Ladley jeered. That bastard. Made a face at him. Rank B. history. So I got rank A, rank B. So rank A is that, rank B is that. Okay, let's retry. So if the bell rings, I want S. How do you get to S here? You need the bell to ring. Rocky stands up from his seat, then the bell rings. Bad. That's rank B. It's rank A. Fuck, man, so what's different? What do I have to do that's different? Rank A. Rank A. Reset. If the bell had rung, he wouldn't have bothered and gone off to play basketball. Okay, so the bell rings first. Boom. Can I delete this? Toward my sketch, he needs. Ooh, go back. Go back. He needs to. Oh no. Start. So he needs to tear up what's her name sketch. Retry. He needs to tear up what's her name sketch. So these two can't be first. This has to go before these two. 100%. That's A. It says nobody ever mentioned picking an assistant up either. And if we retry and we have this up, he wouldn't have even bothered. So the boss. That's the only one I haven't done yet. Masai is completely in shock. Not only am I a therapist, said you're very serious. Something like that. I will not tolerate this kind of thing in my class. So you can do cry. I couldn't control my anger, Mr. Wen. Give me grants. Picked up my sketch. Boring. See. All why other people. Well, if you. I collected my stuff in my backpack, getting ready to leave. Stay up and clean the room. What? I stopped what I was doing, looked at Mr. Wen in disbelief. Handed my sketch back to me. After all, you're my assistant for this course now. He turned away and walked back to the front of the classroom. And I just realized that everyone who was still in the room was staring at me. Everyone looked like they were gawking at a circus monkey on the street. What the hell? I had no intention of being a freaking assistant to that guy. He put her arm around my shoulder. Congratulations, let me buy you dinner sometime, you poor kid. I burst out laughing. Well, whatever. Hey, that was hard. I had to think about that one. That's gonna. Ooh. Tennis. Alright, I'm gonna go ahead and end the episode here. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys enjoyed this episode, please hit the like button. I really appreciate it. Also, subscribe if you haven't done so already. Lots of visual novel and roguelike content on the channel, although I mix it up sometimes. You never know. I'm gonna do that faster and faster, so I just run off of freaking my words and shit. But it's also getting engraved in my memory. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys in the next episode. Peace out, you guys.